All right, guys, we are here for another episode of Ben Clymer Presents. Today we are presenting Bremont with my good and long time friend, Davide Cerrato. Davide is something of a legend in the watch space. Cut his teeth at Panerai as a young man, then quite famously, I would say, at Tudor, where he oversaw the revival of the brand, really. Brought the Black Bay, the Heritage Chrono. Remember the Heritage Chrono back in the day?
First
How cool
one,
was that?
fantastic.
Oh,
The Monte Carlo.
That was a good one. And then Montblanc after that. And now as the CEO of Bremont.
Thank you very much, Ben, for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So tell me how you ended up working with Bremont.
Yes, it's a very nice story. I believe very much into things not happening by chance. And we met just at the right moment. Myself spending more than 20 years in watches, and I would say more than 16 years in what I call the premium segment in particular.
Yeah.
And Bremont having achieved incredible things in the 20 years and having received new investment and really willing to prepare the brand for a proper global scale up.
Yeah. And I don't want to say there's a Davide playbook, but I think there is a theme to what you do with these brands, which is kind of like revive the storytelling, revive the narrative, or create a narrative and come up with incredibly pure product. And you're a product guy at the core of it. Is that fair?
I am, definitely, yes.
And so what attracted to you about this role?
Listen, the brand is very interesting. Is a very unique British challenger. Has a very interesting inception and story as an independent brand, with these two brothers fighting to rise a British brand, which was a big challenge.
Sure.
Against the odds 20 years later, starting at the same time when most of the independence brand were starting, early 2000.
Yeah.
And then going through the challenges of all this year and getting to today, where the brand is a very powerful footprint in UK, has done a number of exploration in other countries, including US, and needs to be refocused to express its value and in its uniqueness,
Yeah.
and really be able to cater to a totally global target, and in particular to, I would say, a younger group of customers.
Yeah. And so Bremont is a brand that's, I think, very well known to the Hodinkee audience. We've written about them for years. We actually were an authorized dealer of Bremont. We kind of part of the family, so to speak. But your appointment as CEO came alongside kind of some changes in it. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, just so there's full understanding?
Yes, totally. The company had a very interesting injection of capitals in October 22 with a new investor, American from New York, Bill Ackman,
Sure.
coming on board, and with the existing investor LCAT, which is with us since a long time, reinjecting some capitals and giving us now the means to set up a very ambitious business plan for the 5 years to come. And having the means to put it in full speed.
How did you hear of this opportunity? How did it kind of come to your desk?
Yes, they were making a proper search with a qualified HR headhunting global cabinet. And in reality, I met Nick and Giles over time in several occasions, and I think the last time that we met was on a racetrack, driving vintage cars and
Naturally.
making a piece with the one and only Nick Fulks.
Of course.
And I was also looking around, and I dropped a message to Nick, and that's how we got in contact. And I learned that they were actively searching for a CEO to make also a little bit of a interesting evolution of the company, going from founders to an external CEO.
Yeah.
And the contact was magic. Bill Ackman described it like when you have the right key to open a door and it's smooth and natural.
Yeah.
And definitely it's a perfect image to describe, how much um, alignment and common way of looking at watches. By the way, Bilakma himself is a collector and a great connoisseur of watches.
Sure.
And we easily and quickly found a common ground and a mutual acknowledgement of fit and purpose and a big opportunity, a one-of-a-kind opportunity to really bring the brand to the next stage.
Yeah, and I think I think it's challenging at times when founders bring in external CEOs. Speaking from personal experience, I've done that, and so I think there's oftentimes trepidation from an audience about such a thing. So tell us why there shouldn't be trepidation. What are you excited about? How is this a new step forward for Bremont?
I will start from my personal approach and personal take. I have a very big respect for the brand I work with and for their DNA, their heritage, their story. And I see very much my work like the one of a talented translator that can, dig really deep into the heritage, the story, the inception. And for me, it was of invaluable help having the possibility to work and discuss with Nick and Giles and really, get to know very precisely, how the idea was formulated, how the inception happened, how the company developed, which had been the challenges, which have been the successes, to really understand the proper DNA of the brand. And when I'm working with a very talented new team that we brought on board with many people coming from watchmaking, with a very specific knowledge. When we are working on the next step is really a way of keeping everything that is strong and unique and differentiating and really embedded in the story of the brand, and reformulating it with a language that then appeals not only to UK customer but to a wider global audience.
And so, what did you want to change about the brand, respectfully, of where?
Yes,
where it was?
I think that the brand has very solid fundamentals that has found a one-of-a-kind recipe to be firmly rooted in UK, where the brand is really strong. And now we need to simplify to amplify. We need to refocus on some element and simplify the offer and simplify the narrative and the storytelling to really be capable then of scaling up globally. And in particular, the first market that we are looking at is US.
Sure.
So, we really focused on a single narrative, which is adventure and exploration, very much embedded into the brand, with already some very relevant adventure and explorers that have been for the brand some time, with some others that we are bringing on board, a very important one that will be revealed in few weeks.
Sure.
Simplifying the message, the message, by the way, is fitting perfectly the US culture, the outdoor, the great outdoor, and to me that is really important. It informs a simpler segmentation of our product offer with sea, land, and air, and with a streamlined product collection. We reduce the number of references, and we are working to, in terms of complication, bring a little bit more variety. In terms of design, creating a kind of transversal design by product lines to have a very strong identity. We are looking for our iconical product that the brand was still searching, was still looking for. And we have been working a lot on operation, on sourcing, and also on product development to be capable of repositioning all the entry part of our offer and to really cater to the, let's say, 2,500 and 3,500 segment that is where we were completely absent, and that is a very important segment.
So you're saying the average starting price point would be 2,500, 2,000 in the 2,000 USD range.
2006, 2007,
so
because
quite a bit lower than where it is now. And thinking of Bremont, for me, it's really in like the 5 to 7 range now. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we were starting at correctly in US around 4,000,
Yeah.
absolutely, and up, and
But
we are really
the divers, the MB2s, those were kind of a little bit more expensive, right?
correct,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so what caused you guys to kind of look at a slightly lower price point?
I really believe that in the premium segment, a key element of competitive differentiator is value and price positioning. And the value proposition is really what drives desirability into the brand. Having a fair price, giving accessibility to the segment, I think it's paramount, especially in a moment where market-wise we have seen many brands going up. I think there is a very, very unique opportunities for Bremont to reposition a little bit and to appeal to a much wider audience.
Yeah, and from my vantage point, I mean that price point is just kind of more fun as well. I mean, it's just like something that you don't need to, not that you don't take it as seriously, but it just allows brands to be a little bit more playful. It's not as much about the movements, which, if the Hodinkee audience certainly knows is a hot topic with Bremont on our platform, which we'll talk about. But I mean, it's the idea. I mean, I think if I may say, like your history lends itself well to that. I mean, I would say arguably creating some of the most iconic products in that price range today, one of which I'm wearing today.
Totally. And, I like to use the term of joyful watchmaking.
Yeah.
There is really an element of joy and fun that is very powerful when you buy this price of this price segment, and it can be your first serious mechanical watch, and it can be in this sense an entry door into the world of mechanical watchmaking. And at Bremont we only do mechanical, which I think has not been communicated enough and is a very powerful take. But it can be also the impulse purchase of someone that buys also a higher price segment, but that find the watch so nice to wear and fun and comfortable to wear, and that buys it. It's very transversal. It's very competitive, very difficult. In a way, people are expecting in this segment everything you can get in the higher one, but at a much more affordable price point, which is a hell of a challenge. But that's exactly why I like this segment, because then if you are capable of expressing a very strong quality, delivering a very fair price, and bringing a lot of fun and excitement and joy with the design, the importance of bracelet and strap and having fun with it and changing it regularly is typically one of the elements that are very linked to this particular price segment.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually never heard you say that, or never heard anyone describe it as joyful watchmaking. But I think when I think of the brands that I most associate with that category, Tudor, Oris, Longines to some degree, Nomos,
Tag Heuer,
of course. These are brands that, when my friend buys, let's say, a Nomos or a Tudor Black Bay, they say, I just can't believe the quality that I got for this price point. And they're so amazed by that in a way that, frankly, you don't even get sometimes when you buy a Rolex or an Omega, which is significantly, it's a different thing, of course, but significantly more expensive. But you anticipate the quality at that level. With this price point, you don't always anticipate it. And it is kind of a surprise and delight moment to see the quality of some of these things in this price point.
Absolutely, and it's very much the level of competence that you need to be able of expressing there, and the sophistication, and is the sexiness, is the pleasure, is the joy, and is really the quality. The perfect articulation of a metal bracelet, the fact that you can change it easily, you can size in a fine way between winter and summer, just the comfort or the beauty of that, and how much changing your strap updates and refresh your watch. You really feel like you have a new watch on your wrist, which is very unique.
Yeah, I mean, I remember with the first Black Bay, when you bought it on bracelet, you also got a strap. But it wasn't a NATO strap. It was a strap that looked like a NATO, but actually had spring bars in it. And totally. It's those level of details at that price point that I think can be really rewarding, and you obviously do expertly. Is that the type of thing we should expect with Bremont?
Totally, yes. We have really we have prepared an incredible program from Watches and Wonders for Watches and Wonders. We are in Watches and Wonders and
For the first time.
For the first time, with a big booth in between the major maison.
Wow.
Very important statement for us will be the turning point for the brand. And for the first time, people will discover, the new positioning into adventure exploration, the new campaign, take it further. 2 new lines, the sea and land exploration one, a new kind of retail image. So really a new skin.
Yeah. So
And
it's really a totally new brand at this point, from my perspective, if I'm understanding.
yes, a proper relaunch, and which is exactly what we need to, give the brand a new spin.
Yeah, and I think you never want to speak ill of those that came before you or any such thing, but I think it's important to address directly. Many years ago there was kind of a hullabaloo on the internet, as the internet loves to do, when Bremont came out with a watch that was in-house. The movement was described as in-house, and it wasn't really. And I think like that in many ways is kind of like a legacy of the brand on at least our platform. That's not to say that's every platform. How would you address that? I mean, how would you say to the folks that were maybe upset about that in whatever year it was? It was a long time ago. I mean, we weren't even in this office, and we've been here since 2015. So we're talking over 9 years ago this took place. I mean, how would you address anybody that still is kind of, I'm going to say, butthurt over that?
I will be very direct, and I am very transparent. Every one of us makes mistakes. The company made a mistake at that moment. Now we have, I would say, cleverly and in a very pragmatical way, refocus on customer attention to customers and customer value. It's not going to happen anymore. And I spoke so much about fair price or good price is exactly this magic balance of value that you deliver and price that you ask, and we are focusing on that big time. So in terms of movement, we are using a lot Sellita movement, which is fantastic quality.
That's what everybody uses,
which everybody uses, and especially in our segment. As I said, we only do mechanical. We don't do any quartz, while in our segment it's quite common to use that. We have a very pure dedication and take on these things. We are working on quality really to improve it, and in Watches and Wonders we will make also some strong announcement in this sense. So now the brand is different. It's a very healthy base looking for the future.
So let's pretend that I'm a young watch lover, not an old watch lover like I actually am. And I said, okay, so the new Bremonts will have Sellita-based movements. The price will be in the high 2s. We'll say, why would I buy this and not a Tudor or not a Longines, not a insert whatever you want here, any other price, any other watch in that price category? What will make it more compelling than those other products?
So the first element is we are quite a unique brand because we are British, and our Britishness will be strongly expressed in a number of elements of the new mix. A very unique take on design, and a very sharp price positioning. And in terms of offer, we are also looking for differentiation. So we have diving watches. We will present a redesigned version of our Supermarine product line at Watches and Wonders, but also we will have like field watches inspired by British military, and in particular like Second World War pocket watches, dials, and with a very, very powerful value proposition. And in that segment, in that category, actually, there are not many watches on the market, and that one can definitely become a little bit our iconical line. Historically, we've been very active into pilot watches, and the link with the aviation is part of the foundation of the brand. And we will reinterpret and redesign the product collection for the following year at Watches and Wonders. And once again, our price segment, there are not so many offering that particular configuration, that particular category of product. So I think that we have something to say in the segment, definitely, and we will become focusing very much into tool watches. I really believe that we can become the champions of tool watch. Adventure and exploration, by the way, were born British.
Sure.
Cook, Livingstone, Shackleton, you name it. So we are particularly relevant and we are particularly fitting to speak about that theme. And we will develop all this narrative with a lot of consistency, and is always a lot about being consistent and working on differentiation and uniqueness, and working on the joyful element of the brand, with materials, with colors, with straps, with really bringing a new energy into the segment.
Yeah, stuff that makes people happy.
Exactly, totally.
And in this price point, I think that's kind of paramount. Well, I mean, what can you say about? I don't want to say like cleaning up the brand, so to speak, but we had Wilhelm Schmid, who was the CEO of A. Lange & Söhne here a few months ago, and he was very transparent about the challenges that he had when he's got clients that want to buy. He's got more clients that want to buy things than he has watches to sell. I don't know if that's the issue with Bremont right now, but I mean, how would you, from just a business perspective as the CEO, kind of want to change things in the way that the watches are distributed, sold, serviced, etc.?
We have already a number of direct shops, of boutiques here in US in Madison. We are not growing that channel. We are really focusing more on partners like yourself, or wholesalers around the country, and to develop the awareness of the brand and to have a little bit more capillarity. We have also our e-com channel that is working very well, and we will continue to develop. And the name of the game is being present, being easily accessible, being capillary in a way, so that people can easily find your watches when they are looking for.
Yeah, and in many ways, it almost feels like, I mean, since COVID anyway, the demand for watches has gone up in terms of what's really in demand is more expensive watches, right? I mean, APs. People know what an AP is now. 10 years ago, they would like, what does that even mean? Rolex, Omega. I mean, like in many ways, like the demand cycle almost begins at $10,000 now. And you guys are going the opposite direction, it seems like. Is that purposeful?
It is. I really believe that there is a unique opportunity on the market now with some of the brands that are in the segment that rose the prices, with some groups that are pulling out of some big wholesaler, freeing some space for other brands. The competition is fearless and is very strong, but I really believe that with the value proposition that we are coming with, we can really strike some strong chords there.
And I mean, I guess I would love to just know more about the thinking behind like what this product will be. Yeah, obviously it's not out yet, so we can't talk about it. I haven't even seen it, for the record. What can you tell us about it? I mean, what should get our audience excited?
I think we are coming with a very strong field watch line, with a new design, completely new design, but I think that really embodies the DNA of the brand. Very different from anything else that exists on the market, with a very strong design, with super powerful straps and a new metal bracelet, with very nice colors, different configuration, different complication. I really want to populate much more our offer in terms of complications.
But can you share what kind of complication would make sense for you guys?
But for the moment, the brand has in its offer a lot of solo tempo of GMT. It's very consistent with the exploration and travel, and few chronographs. But we are looking at different complication, all the ones that are in a way connected with adventure and exploration, with travel, with different time zones, with different cities, with different affichage, and really bringing a little bit of higher variety into that, and creating a ladder inside every product collection to have very affordable and very sharply priced watches at the entry of the range, and then having also at the other end of the range some new joyful complications to also serves the fantastic customer that have been with us for 20 years, and they have already a number of Bremont, and they are looking for something new and something different. And what is very interesting to me is that there is a very strong appetite for newness into the brand, which will perfectly serve with what you are preparing, and we will reveal at Watches and Wonders.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting thing that was mentioned to me just before we began, is that there's this whole other, like when I think of Bremont, I've owned a Martin Baker, I've owned a few, I think of, Rolex, Omega, Tudor competitive stuff. But there's a whole other end of your client base that wants gold watches, wants complicated watches, which again is not something that I see a lot here, to be honest with you. But I guess in the UK that's more popular. Is that accurate?
It is, and to me is very, in a way, the experiences and the brands I work with teach me a lot about that, and about the fact that variety and fun and a little bit more a wider scope of offer brings really something into your offer. So I really believe that you need to, in the premium segment, you really need to cater the two ends in a way. It's super important, the entry one, but then it's super important also to and the brand, by the way, historically has done a number of limited edition that were using more sophisticated movements and complication to cater to that audience, and it has proven to be successful. So we continue to leverage on that. Is really part of our DNA also.
Yeah, and I think something that I think a lot of people might not know about the brand is that you guys have quite a wide range of relationships with like armed forces around the world.
Absolutely. We are definitely the brand that has developed the farthest relationship with military corps. We actually cater to 500 special squad and military corps around the world since 15 years.
Wow.
And that to me is very important, because all these guys wear our watch every day on the field, and I couldn't imagine a better place to test your watches and to be sure that you are crafting fantastic tool watches that you can wear every day, that stand all condition, that embodies a lot of purpose and express the level of quality that is needed at that price point. Watches that need to stand shocks, vibration every day wearing, which is very different of the one that you put in the safe and you pull out from time to time when you have a special occasion.
Yeah, and so I take it you'll lean into that a little bit and kind of embrace the military connections.
Absolutely. And it is of great inspiration. I had the opportunity to go through the history of everything we produced in terms of customization of dial, of use of crest, of use of graphics. It's an infinite source of inspiration for me creatively. We have, by the way, a collaboration with the MOD, with the UK Royal Forces, and we will leverage that much more, bringing also into our commercial open to the public pieces to bring the joy and the variety and the excitement and the fun that we were speaking about.
So most of the stuff will come out in Watches and Wonders. For those of you who don't know, that's early April this year. You guys have a booth there. That's kind of the big unveil. So this in many ways is almost like a teaser for what's to come. What are you most excited about in the relaunch of the brand?
Everything, I would say.
Yeah.
We are really found in these 9 months of hard work a much sharper, stronger expression of the brand, and the reveal of the overall architecture of the brand, between its brand expression, between the new campaign, between a very strong new ambassador that we're coming with, and the redesigned watches will be a very unique moment to reconnect with our actual audience, offering them the new chapter of what they already liked, and to connect with a totally new audience that has not yet known or get to know what Bremont is doing.
Yeah.
And I think they will be very excited about what we are doing.
And so, if you had one thing to say to the audience out there, what would it be? I mean, would it be beyond get excited or something like that? I mean, would you what type of feedback would you want from them? Like, what are you looking for from this audience of our site are enthusiasts. These guys really care about watches in a way that is sometimes unhealthy, but is very dedicated. What would you say to the audience?
I would say stay tuned. I really believe that we are going to bring to you something super exciting. We are going to bring to the premium segment and to watchmaking a new spin, a new energy, a new point of view, British, unique, a little bit different, fresher, and very young, very, very energetic. So I'm really looking forward to share with you and to see what people think about it.
Okay.
It's a magic moment. I love it when for the first time you present a watch and you reveal it and you see the first reaction of the people with the watch in their hands in the metal, where they feel also the weight, they feel the shape, they start to to get in contact with it, and they strap it and they start to share, and that's a totally magic moment. Is this moment of epiphany, of revelation, is probably one of the coolest thing if you are a watch lover.
So look, Davide, you are one of the best dressed guys in watches, if I may say.
Thank you.
You agree with that?
I agree.
Okay, great. Where's the suit from? Can I ask?
This one is a British fabric,
Okay,
but with an Italian tailor.
Can you share the name, or is it a trade secret?
Small secret.
A secret.
Yeah.
And the shoes, where are the shoes from?
Tots, the new Gomino version of the boots that the Avvocato Agnelli used to wear with the suit.
Is that so?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think full transparency. I knew that I was seeing Davide today, but I had forgotten how well dressed he was. So I showed up in just like a crew neck sweater and khakis, and I was like, "Oh boy, I gotta step it up here." So I put another sweater on. So I've got two sweaters on today.
But I must say that you are. I'm incredibly jealous of you because you become skinnier and skinnier in your perfect shape.
I'm gonna waste away now.
Absolutely incredible. I'm totally adds on. I know how hard it is. I'm still fighting a little bit on that. So
he looks good. The man looks good for sure. So what's I mean, as a man of impeccable taste, if I may say, you, not me. What's exciting you in the world of watches outside of Bremont? What brands are doing it well? What would you wear if you weren't wearing your own watch today?
$1 million question.
Yeah, always.
I think there is something happening very interesting around independent brand that are coming and expressing a very specific classical watchmaking, like Francois Paul Journe has become now a total icon, a total achievement of a great career, but very interesting because he has a very unique design language and technical language. Akrivia, very good friend, and Rekchepi, and fantastic story of personal achievement. I think that and many other independent watchmakers that are really bringing a little bit of a refreshed or new language to watchmaking and to collectors. I think is very interesting. There is a very strong dynamics about micro brands that are I think shaking up a little bit the market and bringing a level of creativity for a very interesting price, and you're really focusing on value. That is, to me, you know how much I'm keen about that, and I think it's a very fresh breath of air for all the market. And then the challenge is always what's coming next.
Right.
Is vintage at the end of the cycle, and will someone else come? No way. It's too good. And it's too sweet and poetical it's just the way in which you express it, and which will be the focus of that. I think that at the time of Black Bay we nailed completely the rise of vintage diving watches, and then there has been a run on chronographs, and then there has been a run of more classical watches, and it's always interesting to see what's next.
Yeah.
I think that what we are doing at Bremont, we will definitely create some good vibration into military vintage watches, and it's a very interesting potential area that has not yet completely exploded, and is very modern. I think that really captures the zeitgeist of what watch lovers like. And then is always but tool watches is very interesting. Is there a tool watch of the future? How purpose, how function, how the technical content or the performance content can be pushed further. There is a very interesting area of development also in terms of luminous materials, with the very recent development on Super Luminova. I've been working a lot with Tritech, and they are now coming with the mix of Super Luminova that has a much stronger intensity that lasts hours instead of the few seconds that we are used to. That comes in every possible color, and I'm very much attracted by that. I've been in love with what car do with the light signature and with the LED opportunities that came with the technology.
Yeah.
And I'm very much in favor of having a light signature for a watch, and
interesting,
and taking over the challenge. Can a watch be in the dark as sexy and compelling as it is in the light?
That's tough.
It's super tough, but it's super interesting, and a little bit of the magic of the emotional connection that you have with a watch can definitely come from very recent application of luminous materials. So I think that is going as a long run, and we are working already on that. The new watch is coming. We'll have a much stronger visual signature. And then, is always materials, is always, surface treatment, is, there are so many things, anti-magnetism and, accuracy, and, watch that movement that do not need oils and to functions, and there are very interesting developments there too. So I think there is a very bright future for watches overall.
Yeah, and I agree. And those things you're referring to, Bremont in particular, those things can be done in your price point, is what you're saying.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you don't really think of in the sub $4,000 price range at all. So I think that's pretty amazing. I'll wrap up with the most important question of the day. Do you still own your Morgan?
I do.
You do?
I do.
In Switzerland or in the UK? In
Switzerland.
Yeah.
In the UK is a little bit complicated because the seat is on the wrong side. and I must say that one of the big challenges of moving to UK has been learning to drive the other side.
That's difficult.
But very good exercise for your brain.
That's right.
You really feel physically the other side of the brain that is taking over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still own it, and you know me. It's also very funny because now I live in London, I live in UK. I'm learning British culture, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I've always been attracted, and I've always been, in a way, my process of morphing into a Brit has started long time ago with tailoring, with style, with wax jacket, with fly fishing,
Sure.
with now I do clay shooting.
Do you really?
It's so funny.
With the Bamfords?
Also, yeah. So funny, beautiful.
Yeah.
But I love all these fantastic British cultural activities, and the gentleman clubs, and there is a very sophisticated culture around this, quite clever way of spending time in a nice way.
Yeah.
Perhaps there is a connection there with Italy and the Italian dolce vita.
I think so. Davide, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you,
Ben. We will see you at Watches and Wonders in just a month or two.
Waiting you there.
See you there.